Hey there, Emmett Ferguson here, and if you're looking to learn how to draw and you're a beginner, I want to share this one amazing book. Well, I've got a couple books here because I was doing a longer review of all of them, but I wanted to share this one great book here. This is a book, The Ultimate Bargue Drawing Collection. Now, I do want to say that this is just a version. This is a reprinted version of an original book by a gentleman by the name of Charles Bargue. So that's Charles and then Bargue. I think he's French. Oh yeah. So Charles Bargue Drawing Course. And here's what I want to say that of why I absolutely love this book. First of all, I do want to add the caveat that this specific version, I don't know if the original has this, but this version has no words. So this is a book that gets you to dive straight into it and just start drawing. And it's not difficult either. So those images that I showed you might be intimidating, right? Like, how do I draw that? How do I draw this? How do I draw that? Now this is a classical training book. So if you have absolutely no desire to draw these statue style things, I still will say that this is a pretty good book, but just remember that this is like a classical style of drawing. This is a classical style of art. This was written in the 1850s, so you really got to like be aware of your tastes. If you can't stand this style of classical art and you can't stand drawing, like, you know, seeing if you can't see yourself drawing this type of stuff, if you want to draw like anime or manga, I think this would be very helpful. But I think it's also a great idea to go straight to the source material of what you want. But this book is absolutely fantastic because you get thrown straight in. It basically, I think the subtle context is, hey, just pick up a pencil, pick up a pen, and start copying these drawings. And look at these. So, you know, you see these complicated drawings in the back. You see these dark shadows and all of that. But where this really starts off at is some really simple things. These lines, just simple lines that help you to see that all you need to do is measure length. You can do it by eye or sight or however you decide to do it. Measure length and the angle. So you start to see the angles like this and the length, and then you figure that out. And then you figure the length here, and then you do the next one. And then, you know, so on. And as you start to build up into, you got the head here, or side of the face, then you start to get these, the ear, and then you start to get more complex structures, and it just slowly builds and builds into much more complex figures. And while this isn't a necessarily like a step-by-step guide, like this is how you draw the head. The eyes are this perfectly far spaced apart, and you know, the eyebrows are usually, you know, above the eyeballs, obviously. The nose or the lips usually go up to the pupils and line up. Like, this isn't that type of book. There's a lot of great books like that. I've got a few of them here with me right now. Drawing on the Right Side of the Brain. Anything by Andrew Loomis, who gives you like these specific details. But as far as just finding an amazing book to learn how to draw and you're a beginner, this is pretty darn good. But it's not for the beginner in learning, in a sense of, if you don't feel comfortable just diving straight into something, tackling the material and just getting started, then this might not be for you. If you don't feel like, you know, if you still feel like you need more details or you need more guidance or things like that, then there's other books to include Drawing on the Right Side of the Brain, and almost anything by Andrew Loomis. If you're trying to find a different style, then that's that. But you know what? I think some of these ideas definitely carry over into basically any style, because with anything that you draw, you're ultimately going to be looking, if you're looking at something, you're going to be measuring, you're going to be comparing the length, the difference of space between my eyebrows and like how it compares to my eye. You're going to be looking at the angle of you know, where my nose is. You're going to be looking at the angle of like my cheeks as they come down on a face and how my ears are back there. And, you know, so you're always going to be measuring these things as you're drawing, measuring these angles, measuring the lengths of things. So no matter what, I think this book really does a great job of teaching you to like sightsee, somewhat like in music, when you can read notes and just start playing a song. I think this book is great for just teaching you how to look at something and just start to draw it. But if you want to get more advanced and maybe you've reached halfway through this book and you feel like you're just not quite getting it, then maybe you need some more explanation on some things, or you need more exercises. You're bored of just drawing these same plates over and over again. I will say, here's what I found was really interesting recently. So I have this book. I was doing these studies. I did like a huge bunch of studies of Vincent van Gogh's drawings. That's not one, but that's not one either. But I did a bunch of studies of his drawings, and I had originally credited a lot of ideas to Vincent, but it turns out that Vincent studied a lot from this book. Supposedly he copied it 3 times, the entire thing, and you can even see some ideas here, like male standing and sitting after Bargue. So even Vincent had credited some of his drawings to Bargue. A lot of his studies are from Bargue, and I'm only pronouncing it Bargue because that's how I think it's supposed to be pronounced. It's French. Here's some stuff that I did. So I wanted to do things differently because I had already spent quite a lot of time drawing, so I wanted to change it up. And instead I decided to do these eyes and these faces, the initial parts of the book, with oil pastel. So it's going to look very different. And, it hasn't really gotten into the shading and everything, so I'm making up my own shading, my own colors. So these are going to look quite different. But, you can see that you quickly, you start with these basic things, the shapes of the eyes, and you quickly move into like chins and jaws. And I've never sketched with this type of detail before, but now I have. And just look with the oil pastels. I've had the opportunity to really explore the concept with different colors and everything. So really good, exciting book. And if you're able to get creative, it doesn't have to get boring. Now, of course, if you're just starting off, then you probably want to start with pen. But if maybe you've been an artist for a while, but you're just looking to draw, maybe you've been an abstract artist or a sculptor and you want to learn how to draw, then hey, dive right in and check it out. So this is a review of this great drawing book, so you can learn how to draw, and it's for beginners. And this is the Ultimate Drawing Collection. There might be a few versions of this book. I found this one specifically because I like that it supposedly has it's supposedly the ultimate collection of Bargue's work, but I haven't looked at the others, so I don't really know for sure what they include. However, amazing book, absolutely love diving in, and I can definitely see how it helps you to draw better, because it does help you to solve some problems. Like right here, some common drawing problems, right? These are some common drawing problems that you might see, is this cheek that kind of extends out, just side of the face when you look at it from a certain angle. How do you draw that? Or this nose that just barely sticks out on the other side, or this the lips from this angle, or let's see another example, right? Like the top of the nose with no nostril, like all these things. Where do the cheeks come by? And here, this is where the cheeks are. Like, what are these lines for? Probably the cheeks. So where I think this book is really helpful is it throws you right in. You still have to ask yourself questions and come up with answers, but it doesn't overly distract you with a lot of text. Like, let me just share with you something with, this is a great book, by the way. Drawing on the Right Side of the Brain, highly recommended, but I got lost. I got stuck halfway because there's just so much text. I just want to draw. I just want to know the exercises, get pretty straight to the point, and just draw. Now, sometimes some things do need more explanation. I get it, but I was like, hey, I need to just get out there and just start drawing. Other great books, Bridgman's well known, but his language can be very, very difficult to understand. Like this, below the cleft of the chin itself protrudes. Now, this is going to sound dumb, but I don't know what the cleft of a chin is. And there's a lot of stuff like that. So it says, like, maybe it's this thing. I don't know exactly. But there's a lot of words that are hard to understand. The oval cavity of the mouth is surrounded by a circular muscle, orbicularis oris, whose fibers overlapping at the corners raise the skin into the folds known as the pillars of the mouth. What is the orbicularis oris? What are the pillars? Are these the pillars of the mouth, or are these, like, I don't understand. So, although the drawings are good, I'm sure you could just dive right in and try to copy them. The explanations are just a little bit too complex. And other than that, happy drawing. Hope this review is helpful, and have a wonderful day. Happy drawing, everybody.